Hey everybody, welcome to week 19 of GameDev but only fun bits. I'm Zach, I'm making a game. This week, ran into some issues that I wasn't expecting to run into, but I got some work done and I reached most of the goals I set last week. Getting right into it, last week I wanted to get the meta generation working in Engine. So essentially, while I'm driving, I could change a meta element, like for example a street or a street node, and then change it and have it regenerate the entire street based on that change. What that was dependent on was that my serialization for meta elements was actually working. So how these meta elements were loaded into the scene with all of their properties for how wide the street should be and like how what the guardrail should be on the sides, all what the ground should be around it. All that stuff should have been loaded in. That wasn't. So that was a big issue. Eventually I dug in and I found it was the two things. One, the static serialization, that it was trying to serialize static fields but only in a certain context that was breaking everything. So I removed that because that I don't really need. And then the second thing was my parenting. Basically, meta elements child parented to other meta elements. That can happen in certain cases, and in those cases, when I save the meta element, it was saving the entire tree, so it was saving other meta elements that would be loaded again later, and it couldn't find references. And for now, it's working okay for meta elements only saving the top level. So after that, I needed to properly save the meta parent, so essentially what each element's generated parent, what created it. So there's things created by me, but then there's things that are created by meta elements, so I need to mark that when they're saved. So I added all that stuff and loading that stuff, and then there's an additional complication of when elements are loaded. If their parent doesn't exist yet, I need to collate them and save them, and then once their parent is loaded, they need to be parented to that, and any future elements need to be parented to that. So that was a whole system that I put together. After that, my meta generation was pretty much working except for issues with assets not being, the references to assets not being saved. And I've had issues with this all the way back since I started. Basically, when I run in Unity, when you run, if something's not in the scene when you start running, it's not considered loaded. It's not loaded into memory. So I need to save references to things that I am going to use so that Unity keeps them alive and active and knows that I'm going to use them. I had a big issue with the actual script serialization. I was nesting serialized dictionaries and was trying to do this the right way, where I was trying to get their serialization to work, but it just would not work. So that was almost a whole day where I tried to do it a correct way, and eventually I just flattened everything into arrays, and that worked, and just got it all done custom. For this case, I'm hopefully not going to be using data structures more complicated, or as complicated as that. But for now, just flattening it in that case worked. So then I was generating. After that, which you can see in these videos, after that, I got the other thing I said I'd get done, the segment tangents editable. So now you can change the tangent. So next week, one of the big things I need to work on is ground. Right now, when you regenerate a street, the ground attached to it is destroyed, and I don't actually have any system using the existing meta element systems to regenerate that ground. And I'm not sure, because a whole ground area can expand really far, like a really long distance, and there's no guarantee that the whole area is actually loaded into the game. So I need to figure out how to define what this area is and how to do the regeneration of this area. And I might need to rethink how I'm actually doing ground. Going into next week, it's going to be a big project to figure out how to get around that issue of not everything being loaded when I'm actually editing. And alongside of that, I need to, like I mentioned, streamline editing, because right now it's buggy. There's a lot of... I got it to the point where it works, but it's not fun to use. So, yeah, a lot of bugs, probably a lot of cleanup. Other than that ground stuff, probably not load features. But next week, I'll probably be skipping 1 week because I'm going to Tokyo tomorrow. So I'll be away for a day, or, you know, 1 episode. I'll be away for 1 episode, but I'll be back again after that. But yeah, that's all for now. I'll see you guys probably in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching. Later.